right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 560 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to talk about Georgia Southern. We're going to talk about the second scrimmage that Georgia Southern had over the weekend. Can't wait. Upcoming spring game will be here this upcoming Saturday, the 22nd. And I think we're going to be in for a treat because this team looks like they're trying to get themselves up to the next level where they were last year. And with new talent, new faces, some guys getting more playing time or showing off their talent because, you know, playing time is not available until the actual season. But you're starting to see some different names and different faces on the field, and some of them are actually doing some things. We're going to talk about the stats and going to talk about my thoughts and opinions of the second scrimmage, and we'll just go from there. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Go ahead already, if you haven't already, give me that like button. Hit that like button. Let people know what we're doing over here by sharing, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you're on the podcast avenue and you are listening over there and you are thinking about moving over there and listen, or if you have been listening over there for a while, I appreciate you doing that. Give me a 5-star rating on the Apple podcast. You guys are pretty much the majority of the ones who listen to this podcast. The guys that are on Apple, not to take anything away from the Spotify, Stitcher, and Google guys, but Apple is like beating you guys almost 3-1. It's amazing. Give me a 5-star rating over there. Whatever the ratings on the other podcast avenues, give me a high star rating over there. Let's get this podcast growing even more. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job of growing this podcast, and I really, really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get into this. The second practice was this past Saturday on the 15th, and some names that you may not have heard of showed out a little bit, and I'm actually pretty impressed with some of the names that are on here, and we're gonna talk about at least 2 or 3 of them definitely. And there's guys that have been on the roster that you're just starting to see like, okay, now they're doing some things. It's their time to shine, next man up, and hopefully we'll get to see that in the regular season. But to start off with, we had Dalen Cobb. I know you heard of him. If you've seen him last year, he had a couple of good catches. He's opened up scoring on a 35-yard touchdown pass from Davis Brin. And look, I feel like Davis Brin is going to be like the guy. Not like I said, we've seen some phenomenal things from Kyle Van Treese, and there's nothing to take away from him. He's going to be solidified in Eagles Nation history or Georgia Southern history as the guy who basically spearheaded the turnaround of the offense from Georgia Southern, from a triple option to a spread option to air raid pass option. He's done some phenomenal things, but it's just something about Davis Brin that I really, really like. It's more me watching him, thinking about what he can do and seeing what he done at Tulsa really make me think that this guy's going to be something. And he also Anthony Quealy scored on a 7-yard run around the right side. So all this information will be down in the description. I'll put this on gseagles.com. Shout out to the website. Those guys will be doing great things as well. Also, I didn't even mention this before I keep going. firstandframerates.com. That website is here as well. Go ahead and check that out. And hopefully you roam around there and find some things that you may like. Just become a supporter because we really, really appreciate it. J.C. French also had some shine, and he connected with Jalen Barton for a 14-yard pass in the back corner of the end zone. Terrion Dixon, this is one of the names that we know that's been on the roster, showing some production, scored on a 9-yard run. Also, Brennan French, both of them, they combined for about 300 yards. They had about 295 yards. They scored 2 touchdowns. And O.J. Arnold, another name that you've heard of last year, one of the shining true freshmen coming back for a sophomore year. Also, him and Terrence Gibbs both scored. One had, they ran, let me see, let me look, let me make sure I read this right. No, they had a 22-yard run. O.J. Arnold, Terrence Gibbs had a 21-yard rushing. So that's pretty cool because Terrence Gibbs is a guy that we actually thought that was going to be a really good piece for Georgia Southern. We still have Jalen White. Still want to talk about Jalen White. Probably would do that later on in the week because I would like to see more of him because he seems like he's going to be running back number one. But a guy like Terrence Gibbs was a 4-star recruit at Florida, came over to Georgia Southern, and for him to get this type of playing time now says a lot. And with him and O.J. Arnold, and you also have Jalen White, you got a very talented backfield. You know, I mean, when you have guys like the guys of like Wesley Kennedy or Wesley Fields, and then you turn around and you had, you know, J.D. King and Logan Wright, you know, and we can go back further and further, but just, you know, the recent few years, you still got this other group of running backs, O.J. Arnold, Terrence Gibbs, Terrion Dixon. You got another stable that's coming right behind that, and that's like really, really cool. Caleb Hood, Barden, Quealy, all three of them together had 134 yards receiving. So Caleb Hood is coming back for another year, and it's a name that I really didn't talk about that much because Caleb Hood has been a phenomenal receiver for this team for years now. You know, and you know that's just another receiver that we have that's going to be on top of, you know, the Anthony Queelys, the Jalen Bartons, the Durham Burgess, the Sam Kinnersons. I mean, the list could go on and on. Marcus Sanders. I think J.J. McCaffrey's come back at tight end. You know, we got so many weapons. You know, the transfer from Kentucky. We have so many weapons on offense. It's almost ridiculous. This is another reason why I say I don't think Davis Brent ever had this many weapons in his career at Tulsa. I could be wrong. And then you turn back around, J.C. French is going to be right behind it. I mean, then you got Colton Fitzgerald. This is so exciting to think about this team when you think about the list of names that are going to be, you know, on this roster for now. Hopefully transfer portal don't hit us like, you know, other schools, but look like we got a pretty good look right here. My kicker, my favorite kicker on the team, Britton Williams and Michael Lance. I like Michael Lance, but Britton Williams is my guy. They both made 50-yard field goals. Alex Smith, I think that's the punter from Australia. He had a 48-yard punt. Defensively, Andrew Douglas and Tyrell Davis. Shout out to Tyrell Davis. Awesome, phenomenal kid. Hope to see him do a lot of great things in the blue and white. Had an interception. Devon Gilmore, the transfer from Bowling Green. Mark Stampley Jr., MJ Stroud, and Davion Rose. All four had sacks. And Seth Robinson and Reed Dedman both have half sacks. So now we're seeing from the last scrimmage we had that we didn't talk much about the defense, which kind of gave me a little bit of pause because I was worried about them. You turn right back around and these guys are stepping up. You see the 2 interceptions. You see the sacks. You see the guys getting at the ball now. So it seems like the defense is stepping up a little bit. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes because Will Harris is no longer on the team. I think he's left, got a new defensive coordinator. How is that going to play out? Also, we lost Anthony Williams and Tyler Bride, 2 good cornerbacks, well, 1 cornerback and 1 safety. How's that going to play out when you have Devon Gilmore coming in? Mark Stampley going to have to step up. And you got a couple of other guys, 1 transfer from K-State. I can't remember his name, but he's going to be coming in as well to step up as well. Mark Wingard. I mean, like I said, you got Tyrell Davis. You know, you got a lot of guys here. And the guys that are on this team are more than talented. And I would love to see what these kids can do, you know, in this second year of what's going on here. And a lot of the transfers are bringing experience over to the team and see what they can do. Like, you know, like for instance, just for instance, you had a guy like Jalen Barton and Anthony Quealy. These guys have experience at the Power 5 level. You turn around, you got a lot of guys who are a little bit younger, guys that have been at the Group of 5 level. Probably, you know, don't get me wrong, they played in some big games. I mean, you look at the Nebraska game, you look at, you know, James Madison, you know, they played in some big games. But when you bring guys like that who can come in and actually could be, you know, contributing with their experience and all the other things that they can do, how well does that work out for the team? You know, I think that is something that we really need to, you know, think about because I think these guys is going to be really, surprised and really, I don't know the word to look for. They're going to be really impressed with what these guys can bring to the table. Especially a guy like Jalen Barton who played with Kenny Pickett. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be really, really interesting to see how that goes. The team will hold 2 more practices this week before they have the blue and white game. As of right now, I still plan on going to that game unless some unforeseen changes happen. I do want to be there to support the team, so I will let you guys know at least by the end of the week. But as of right now, I will be there, and I can't wait to see how this goes. I'm really impressed with how this team's probably going to be. So with that being said, let's go ahead and close this out. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think about everything that I talked about. What do you think about the Georgia Southern Eagles? Do you think these guys are going to be able to, get better from next year? I know somebody asked me that before. Like, what do I think about the team now? And I'm like, yo, I like the team. I like what they're about. And I think they can still win at least 8 games. I think the Wisconsin game and the Marshall game, I've always been kind of worried about the Marshall game for some reason. But I think the Wisconsin game and the Marshall game, the 2 games that kind of scare me. But I think that we're going to be all right. I'm really, really impressed with what's going on here. It looks like the team is coming together. Coach Clay Helton has been doing a really good job. He's been doing a phenomenal job. And you can't beat that, So I'm going to get up out of here. You can find me on YouTube and Rumble, also Anchor, Stitcher. I guess you can say Anchor. Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Hit that like button. Give me a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast side. Let people know what I'm doing over here. firstandframerates.com. You want to go to the website and see how things are going over there. And we're just going to go ahead and close it out there. I will see you guys on Tuesday. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great one. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.